again, everyone. I am back with another vintage haul. And not to fear, I'm determined to make this one under an hour and better yet, under 40 minutes. Now, as I said in my last archive video, the reason why I like doing these videos is it creates a memory of a lot of these pieces that I've been getting in, and sometimes they sell before I can even photograph them, and I don't want them to be forgotten to the time that's in my brain. I want to remember them. I want to look back and go, oh, I remember that piece. I remember when I got it. I love it. So this is just more documentation and to kind of show you the cool things I get in and some pieces that need a lot more work than others. So let's hop in to this quick video on our most recent little mini buying haul. It wasn't a very big one. I think we're done with the big ones for the rest of the year. So let's jump right into it. I gave a preview of this shirt on the last archive episode, and it's this 1970s Joe Namath by Arrow mountain, nature, wilderness scene. And it's from the disco era, but it doesn't have the typical disco print. It's very nature driven, earthy. I absolutely love it. Lightweight, super unique. And I'm definitely getting this one photographed and put up on the website and on the floor. Now, as I go through the rest of these, some of them, a good majority of them, if not all of them, need to be laundered. They have varying degrees of issues like underarm discolorations. They need refreshing, a couple need mending, but all of them I saw a lot of promise in. And the woman that I got these from, her family, and this is not uncommon to what I hear, and you've probably heard this on a lot of these videos, she was one of the only ones in her family that didn't want any of these pieces to be thrown. It's so overwhelming, and I know a lot of you out there watching, if you've lost a family member, especially one from one of the older generations, and you have to find a place for all of their belongings, it's extremely overwhelming, and I get it. And that's part of what vintage shops are here for. We don't want any of these to end up in the landfill. And even if there are pieces that I come across here that can't be fixed, we donate them to local theaters. Sometimes I've donated them to photographers who need them for projects. So they always find their place. So with a lot of these pieces, I wanted to make sure that I could at least give it a really good go to see if I can save them, do something with them, and that usually it tends to always be the theme. Now, looking through these, you really go through the decades, and as you can see, I have a mix of colors and patterns, earthy, neutral tones. So if we go through here, I have this gorgeous brown. It's not wool. It is 100% rayon, and inside is, the lining is acetate, double white buttons going down the front. It's a very thick and substantial dress. It's going to be really great for winter. And I didn't get this buttoned up again. I just got these in last night. I haven't had a moment to perfect them or sort them into what needs to be laundered and mended. But I've had this brand in before, Personal, and this is from the late 60s, maybe very, very early 70s. And it's a very petite size, which is a little bit harder to sell, but the pattern and the colors, I just couldn't let it go. It's in really, really great condition, needs a good steaming, but the colors and the patterns are just so indicative of that era. And they're really popular colors today as well, so it's also very relevant. Now, I also stated in a recent video that I buy for all of the seasons ahead of time. If I see really beautiful summer pieces, I get them in. It gives me a really good chunk of time between now and spring to get them cleaned and ready and tagged so that the moment April hits, I can start getting these out on the floor. And this really beautiful 1960s, very watercolor-esque floral pleated dress is no exception. Does have a little bit of discoloration, but another one that I am going to treat and clean and get it ready to find its new home next year. And right behind it, have this 1960s polyester mini dress in this great hot pink. Now this is one that I need to do a lot of work on. It doesn't show very well on camera, but the white has discolorations and a lot of hanger discoloration. Now when these are on the hangers and they're in a closet, they're not covered by garment bags, you tend to get a lot of dust and muck buildup. And this one, you can see a little bit. This is not a shadow. This is the discoloration that is on the white. I'm going to try my best to get this out. If I can't, then I'm going to look into, at the very least, maybe dyeing this top part, even a lighter pink to kind of disguise some of this discoloration. So we'll see if I can get rid of any of that. Now this next trio is one that I really went back and forth on because it's going to take a lot of work. My goal is to keep this as a 3-piece set because as you see, it's a little cropped top, jacket, and underneath the jacket is a matching skirt. Again, they have a lot of storage discoloration. The wonderful thing is that it's polyester, so it can take a lot of substantial cleaning, and I do a mix sometimes of OxyClean, and I can't remember the exact name of this, but it's a Shout spot treatment that has an orange top with little rubber bristles that has always worked really well. So luckily this material can take a lot of cleaning, but I still try to be as careful as possible. This is dingy. The jacket behind it is also dingy, and at first I thought that was a hole, but it's not. It's just loose threads, but it has a little bit of storage discoloration. So this is one that is going to take a little bit more work. Now I'm not going to undo this, but I tested the elastic on the skirt, which is something I do with every piece I get in with elastic, and this is like crunchy to the point of disintegrating. I am going to attempt to replace the elastic in that myself, see what happens, or if all else fails, I can figure something else out. But this set was just really cool, and I love the color, and again, the fabric can take a lot of cleaning and products, so I'm going to do my darndest to make sure I can get this beauty back into as prime of condition I can possibly get it, because it's very Jackie O, very Priscilla Presley, absolutely gorgeous, and I can't wait to see how it comes out. Now I always say it, but I normally don't buy children's clothing or baby clothing, but when I see pieces that are just really unique and in great condition, I have no choice. And I put this one back, thought about it for a little bit, and snagged it again. And this is a child's top from, it's either from 68 to 69 or very early in 1970. And I know that because of this dry cleaning tag. It's done in September of 1970. Pristine condition, gorgeous, psychedelic, floral pattern print. The colors are just amazing. And this is meant for a little girl, probably maybe up to 8 or 9, depending, unless you're an extremely petite adult, like extremely petite. But I thought this would be beautiful hanging up on my wall, and if someone with a child that loves vintage comes in and wants it, or they want to buy it for them, perfect. But it did give a list of all of the children's clothing. Let's see if I can get that to focus. And let's see if I can find this one on there. Now I can't tell because I can't really read the handwriting, but it might be this one up here. I see something about pink, print pink something. Can't quite read it, but 49 cents to get this cleaned. Because it looks like a lot of them are 49 cents or $1.20, which was for a coat. So can you imagine? This only cost 49 cents to get dry cleaned. As opposed to now, when I bring in a top or a dress, it's usually been around $12 to $18, just for reference. But still, totally worth it. Now this is another child's dress, and it's also on that list of dry cleaning. Another crazy cool retro psychedelic print with even brighter colors. Almost that 1920s drop waist, little pleated bottom. Again, it's going to take a very specific person to buy these. It's not very common that people come in asking for vintage clothing for their children, but anyone out there who does, we have some pieces for you. But for now, I'm going to hang them up on the wall, and they're just going to look beautiful until they find the right home. And this is another beautiful 1960s, very fluffy pink. I always think fluffy pink when I see this shade, but almost like a bubblegum pink dress. And it's still in its original garment bag, but because of the wire hanger and how long it had been in storage, there are some discolorations still. Can kind of faintly see them here. Gonna get that spot treated. Again, looks to be a polyester and rayon mix, so it should be pretty easy to clean, but completely worth it. And if we go back into this part, I'm a sucker for this beautiful peachy color. It doesn't come off as peachy on camera, but it's another two-piece set. And let's see, did I test the skirt at all? Okay, testing a little bit. Actually, the elastic feels pretty decent, but I mainly got this for the top. I love the cut. I love the little kind of modesty band right there. Has a little bit of, you know, mending to be done, but the details and the color were everything. The skirt has more discoloration, but if I can get that apart, this is just gonna be a wonderful top, and probably won't come out until spring, but again, just give me more time to work on it. This is another dress that I almost didn't take, but I love that it's a really inclusive size. It has this beautiful scarf that you can actually remove and replace it with another one. I have a bunch of these little necktie scarves for sale in gorgeous prints, all silk, and you can just interchange it right at the top. Isn't that amazing? That detail is what made me get this dress. You can see it's heavily discolored from storage. Polyester, it'll withstand a lot. We'll see how much I can get out. Again, I don't like putting things on the floor and selling them. If they still look like this after I launder them, then I usually put these in a grouping and put them up on eBay. And theater departments, people who can use these pieces and repurpose them or cover some of that up, maybe have a lot more skill than I do in camouflage, will have a field day with this. So this is another one. Time will tell, but I'll keep you posted on how it comes out. And this one was pretty much a no-brainer. I love a little tailored jacket, especially in plaid, especially in this green and teal blue color. And of course, it's a Pendleton, wonderfully lined, perfect condition, other than this little thread that's hanging on. But this was a no-brainer. And this one is almost ready to go out on the floor. Just have to roll it off. Ah, I love fall. Now this beautiful confection came in, it's really, I love this garment bag. Unfortunately, it's a bit destroyed. I might be able to actually just repair it, clean it up and repair it, because I love vintage garment bags. And this one is definitely worth saving. I think I can just stitch it up and it should be good. But if we look at this gorgeous lipstick red formal dress, the structure, it almost reminds me of like a Balenciaga dress. Very structured, gorgeous, striking color, very simple, but the details are what really make it stand out. And this is from the brand Gigi Young of New York. I've never seen that brand before. Again, that's part of what I love about this is I'm learning about brands that I never knew of. And I can't wait to get this one steamed and ready. And this is going to be one of the best holiday dresses. I already have a window display with this one planned. Oh, I'm excited. Again, don't judge me. I always say I don't go for black dresses, but yet every buying appointment I have, I usually get a black dress. But this one is just so beautiful. It's a 2-piece set, and I haven't determined the material yet. I think it's acetate and rayon, but it's from the 50s and it's from the brand Pommet, a Pommet fashion. And I just love the tailored cropped jacket. Has this button detail at the top, functional buttons, matching belt. And from what I see, it's like a pretty good size as well. And this, I just see putting a beautiful brooch right here. Something like, I feel like Elizabeth Taylor would wear this. Any Hollywood star of it in the 50s would have worn this. Absolutely beautiful, chic. I'm just admiring it. Now this one is a beauty, and it's in way better condition than I anticipated. It is from the late 40s, and it is semi-sheer, so you would probably just wear a really nice black slip under this, depending on how daring you want to be. But I love the button detailing in the front, and this panel that kind of just corners up at the bust. It's just those details that really make pieces like this stick out. And if I turn it around, again, very, very simple, but all of these pleats are still in great condition. These were kept very well. Some of them, not so much, but obviously these pieces meant a lot to the original owner, and they came out pretty unscathed from time. This one is a perfect example of when I was talking about ones that I was determined to save. This is a beautiful, beautiful, very icy, silvery blue brocade 1950s dress. These amazing large pockets and really interesting kind of frosted glass buttons. I haven't seen ones like those before. Absolutely stunning. Now this is a little rough. It has storage discolorations up here, and you might not be able to see it very well on camera, but there are areas of, you can kind of see it here. There we go. Underarm staining. Now I've had luck in the past getting out underarm staining. This one, because of the material, could be a lot trickier. I thought this one is definitely worth a try. Has some interior work to it. It's unlined, so you have a lot of fabric and these loose threads jamming up the zipper on the inside. So I have to go through, trim all of that, make sure the zipper doesn't get stuck or knocked off track. Again, totally worth it, because if I can get this piece back into better condition, it's going to be another glorious holiday and winter dress. All right, we're bringing up the rear here. I have another one that is still in its original cleaning bag. So let's see, Bonvolet Cleaners. I haven't ever heard of that one. I love the graphics on this. They're really great. So let's get this bag off and see the beauty that is inside. And you can see right here that to get this dry cleaned was $1.25. I wish. This beauty is from a brand that you're probably, as a vintage lover, very familiar with, Carol Brent. She did lingerie, separates, dresses. And this is another lipstick red. Beautiful. I'm pretty sure it's more of an acrylic knit. Doesn't feel like wool, thankfully, because one of the pieces that was in the grouping I went through had so much dry rot. It actually literally took my breath away. I did not feel well last night. I have a very plugged nose. I was not expecting it, and I was very worried that that dry rot got onto some of these pieces, but luckily they were saved. This one has a gorgeous panel up at the top, wonderful wearable size, another great holiday dress. So it's no secret that I get a lot of Perette of California pieces in. Love Perette, love their swimsuits. This is a Coratron, never needs pressing, double button jacket, and I would say it's like a pea green, not even a pea green. It's hard to describe because it doesn't look the same on camera as it does in person. Almost like a mustardy green color. It's really beautiful. It doesn't sound like it, but it is. And I love the color. I love the buttons. And I love a good jacket with little details. So I'm very excited for this one. It's not going to be everyone's taste, but it's definitely mine. All right, this is second to last. And we have this gorgeous, very like powdery seafoam, greenish blue jacket and matching skirt with this amazing ribbon detail button. And this is from the brand designed by Stefan for Briarbrook. Really beautiful. The lining is completely intact. Doesn't look like there's any discoloration. I love the little panel detailing here on the side and on the back. And I do know that somewhere on the back here, there's a little storage discoloration that I need to try to get out. This was another one I was a little worried about because yesterday when I had this buying appointment, which was a last minute one, so this was all last minute, it was raining out and she accidentally dropped some of these pieces in a puddle. And this was one of them. So I see spots where it needs to be cleaned, but luckily it doesn't look like anything I can't get done. Gorgeous matching skirt. Very like substantial. Ugh, I love this one. Last but certainly not least is this gorgeous kind of fuchsia, pink, red, green, black dress. Now, when I first saw it, this pattern is very reminiscent of patterns that you would see in the 1980s. In the 80s, they tended to do a lot of styles that referenced back to the 40s and the 50s. And no doubt these patterns are kind of what they pulled from. But one of the best surprises I got was turning it around and seeing that it was a Suzy Perette. Now, Suzy Perette, I'll put some information about the brand up here. But my best memory is watching the iconic show for vintage lovers, collectors, vintage shop owners, and that is on the Smithsonian Channel. It was called LA Frock Stars. And my favorite vintage shop ever is The Way We Wore. Doris Raymond is a legend in the vintage community and as a vintage seller, knowing her provenance, finding good homes for these pieces. And in one of the episodes, she had Dita Von Teese in store. And Dita tried on this gorgeous silver lame dress, and it was a Suzy Perette. Absolutely beautiful, impeccably made. This was kept in perfect condition. It's still completely, like the fabric is supple. It has zero discoloration. You can definitely tell this was taken care of. Very, very petite, small size, but the colors on it are just amazing. And another iconic piece of fashion label history. All right, so I didn't put a timer on this yet, so hopefully by the time I edit this video, it's at a reasonable length that won't keep you watching it all night. But thank you again for tuning in and watching. And I'm just loving being able to document these pieces before they find their forever home so I can go back, look at it, and just remember them and think of them fondly. But now I'm going to jump into getting them sorted and getting them cleaned because I'm very excited to get these out. Thank you again for watching, and let me know what you think about these pieces in the comments. I always love reading it. We have such an amazing vintage community, and I always appreciate you all tuning in to watch my dinky little videos. Thank you so much, and we'll see you again next time.